So BTC trading just under 94K, but not too long ago, it was sitting just below 92. It was proper squeaky bum time, especially on these altcoins. So guys, is it time to start buying the fear? Is there going to be more downside? We're going to take a look today on some massive levels on some of these alts. We're going to cover so much for you guys and what is happening in the market. So stick around. We got tons to talk about today. Let's get right into it. And remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. You know who's in the house. I don't even have to, I have to even show the man. Here he is. There he is. Look, he's got a new background. He's got the ladies. He's on the beach. There's so much going on there. And I mean, he's feeling quite smug because he nailed a couple of trades again today in our chart hackers session. So hats off to you. We also nailed a couple of others there. So we're going to go through a couple of things today. So Banter Bubbles looking like absolute dog shit at the moment. Look at this AI16Z SPX getting absolutely wrecked. Rune getting smashed. Whiff getting obliterated. But is it time for Whiff? Is it time to buy some Whiff? I mean, we're pushing 1.4 here on Whiff, so I got a couple of limit orders ready in case we are going to get some kind of entry there. But you would have noticed we've had a short-term little bounce now. Now, the cool thing with Banter Bubbles is you can click on the live button if you want some live action as to what is happening right now. So there's some live price action for you guys on Banter Bubbles. You can also click on the 1 hour. You can see which ones are bouncing nicely now on that little reversal. Look at 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗡𝗦, always a nice recovery play there as well. So it's been a messy day though. I think after yesterday's dumpage, we had that pump. Then we went live on Chart Hackers late yesterday. We had an emergency live session and we were talking about getting these wicks filled after these dumps. So you're going to now see some of these alts have filled these wicks again after that dump. Some of them have printed higher lows, and we're going to go through what comes next. So let's start with BTC. And I must say, it's with great relief that we did get a Bitcoin bounce eventually. So these were our levels here. Yesterday, we were talking about a reaction off the VWAP that we highlighted yesterday. So we got those longs off that VWAP. Nice little reaction there. Then we dropped lower. Now today we had that DOJ news coming out with the BTC, which we're going to talk about in a minute or two. And we have now front run quite a big zone that I was looking for earlier today. So it was 91.5 down to 90K. I really wanted to see this wick taken out and give us a strong bounce. Now it seems like with the US market closed today, it seems like we front run that level, but it doesn't mean we can't come back for a little bit more action. But a little bit positivity here for you guys at the moment on this Bitcoin bounce. We can see we've printed some bullish divergence now using my chart prime oscillator, and this thing is now starting to gear up for a potential push to the upside. So if this move continues on this slightly lower volume day, what are we looking at? Well, where is my short zone? Where is my TP zone? So number one, 95,950. You can see that is the most obvious area for me. I've got this VWAP pull from the absolute highs here. I've also got my VWAP from the dumps on the 30th of December. So these are tying in beautifully here with the 382 and these horizontals. So for me, that is a potential rejection zone. That's a potential short zone for us. Then if we do get a pump higher, 98,500 is going to be the next banger. Now I want to show you an absolute banger here on the liquidation heat map. Look at this shit. 96K, anything just under 96K. I'm talking 95,900 down to about 95,200. Maximum liquidity there, sitting and waiting. Easy pickings if they want to send it higher. And you can see how that ties in with this hot zone here to the upside. So things are starting to look good. Rob, when bottom, I've got messy underpants. Fuck, bro. I'll tell you what, I run out of undies. When moments like these, I run out of undies, guys. I'm probably on pair number 4 in the last 24 hours. It's been a rough ride. Not gonna lie, it's been messy out there. And I had to take the L on Whiff yesterday. So I'm quite bleak about that as well. So, okay, so you've got your levels, you've got the current game plan now on the 2 hour. So we're going to use the lows, obviously, as our main support, 91,800. Then we know, we're aware we've got this box lower down that we need to pay attention to. But right now, I'd like to see if we do start coming back, I'd like to see a higher low and then a push to take out that liquidity before some potential downside. Okay, so that is the game plan on BTC for me. That is what I'm trying to follow at the moment. But there are obviously a couple of hedge plays in place that we're going to talk you guys through shortly. One of them is near potential short there. Another one is injective that I'm sitting in on a short at the moment at major resistance. But here is our BTC situation. Played around with this one all day. This thing sweated me out, and I was actually laughing with Chaos earlier. This was my stop loss, okay, earlier today. Look at this thing. It came out, it missed my stop loss, I don't know, Ray, $1, a few cents, but it came down there, it nearly hit my stop, and then it absolutely ripped. So that was proper pressure there. So I've been clipping out profits on that. It was 1 Bitcoin long at the time. Now it's 0.6. So proper pressure there, but you can see the next play for us is going to be this trend break. We want to see this pop now, and then maybe that bullish continuation into that liquidity zone that I've just told you guys about. Okay, so let's hit some news, let's hit some tweets, let's see what's going on, and then we're going to jump into these alts and cover some things. So I just love this. I mean, this is like the trader's nightmare, and this actually happened to me on Render. In the last 3 days, Render actually did this to me. I was $12,000 up on Render. I went to like negative 2,500 or something at one point now. So proper rejection move there and proper round trip on Render. But if you look at this tweet, I love this thing. The guy says buy. Okay, then he sells there. He says, damn, I sold too early. I need to just hold the next time. Okay, what happens the next time? He buys it. He's like, fuck that, I'm holding. What happens? Rinsed. Okay, I mean, these types of things, it's a trader's nightmare. You know, it feels like sometimes, especially the leverage traders out there, you know, the ones that you want to hold for more upside, they dump on you. The ones that you sell to take profits, what happens? They pump even higher. So if it's happening to you guys, it's happening to everybody. Okay, it's just one of those traders' curses that tends to happen, and it feels like as a trader, more often than not, that these guys do these things to you. And the 𝗙𝗬𝗟𝗍𝗓 letter, what are we saying here? Basically, if anyone is feeling confused, and I love it when they post this stuff, they said, number one, stock swinging like the market can't pick a direction, oil prices rising like a recession has been avoided, gold prices rising like a recession is on the way, treasury yields rising like inflation is rebounding, the US dollar is rising like the Fed hike rates are returning, crypto is falling like the bull market is done. I mean, guys, how are you feeling? It's been absolute carnage out there over the last couple of days, and this did not help us. This was the DOG news. So the US government is now cleared to sell 69,000 Bitcoin. Now, you know how the market loves to shit itself and panic when there's announcements like this. Now, it's 6.5 billion seized from Silk Road. They have now clearance to sell it. There was speculation that they've already sold. There was speculation that they were about to sell, whatever the story. And then there's guys also saying, well, hang on, calm down. Okay, anybody panic selling now? This is actually quite a small amount relative to what is going on in the market at the moment. So Satoshi Stacker just telling us, he says, here's their portfolio. If they sell $6.5 billion of Bitcoin that has been approved, they will still hold another 12.2. So that's interesting. I wonder if, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on their current portfolio? I think they need some fart coin. I think they need some meme coins as well. We've got to get hold of this wallet. We got to send them. We got to send them some shit coins. I think it will be a win. But Ash Crypto explained this DOG situation quite clearly and for everybody. He's also just helping everybody calm down with this current situation. So he says, are you worried about the situation? So he says $6.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. It's far-fetched. Why? The market alone is bigger. In 2024 alone, $375 billion of new capital entered the market, which we know about. Okay, great. So 6.5 should be absorbed relatively easily. Market has priced it in. After the news came out, Bitcoin dropped $700. Since then, has stabilized. Well, when was he talking about this? This was earlier today. Okay, so he's not wrong. And then he says it seems like the big entities already had this info in advance, and the dump was from 102 to 95K to price in the FUD. Okay, selling will be via OTC. That's also important. They might not be like the German government that was just literally sitting there on whatever, Binance or one of those things, market selling their Bitcoin, just wrecking us. Do you guys remember that? When was that, Ray? Like 12 months ago. Those Germans were absolutely ending us. But
just 5 months ago in the summer, man, it was brutal.
Yeah. I mean, they absolutely wrecked us, bro. But now, hopefully, this will be some kind of OTC deal, so you might not notice any major price dips while it's happening. And by the time it's done, they might announce it, and you wouldn't have known any difference. So, typical market conditions. Market loves to have a little panic and do a bit of selling. And then Whale Panda reporting, he says yesterday's Bitcoin ETF flows were negative $560 million. Okay, so everyone's taking a hiding there in these conditions. And then Jacob King, I wanted to show you this. Now, it's obviously unconfirmed. He's given us a chart. Now, I don't know. I mean, I can't read this chart. I don't know exactly what the man is trying to tell us here, other than what he's writing in his tweet. And he says, super whales, 10,000 plus Bitcoin started selling in September. accelerating in the last 2 weeks. Wales 1 to 10,000 are now also ramping up their sales. Okay, this is quite a big account. Half a million followers or whatever, and he seems to have a following. Anyway, he's saying the big guys are busy selling, and James is saying anyone not in chart hackers are missing Ray's legendary scalping sessions. Guys, if you like, okay. Now, I know there's all different types of traders. There's spot traders, there's margin traders, there's guys that take 2 or 3 trades a week, there's guys that take 2 or 3 trades a day, and then you get the fucking absolute savages. Now, we've catered for everybody there in chart hackers. So we covered the savages that like to trade the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute candles, take multiple trades a day, and we're covering you for the guys that like the slower grind. Okay, I mean, the pace of some of this stuff that Ray is doing, you know what, it's too much for me. Okay, it's too busy. There's too much activity there, but he's getting a following there in chart hackers, and they're loving that shit. So if you want to try some degen trading with Ray, you come join us in chart hackers. There is a link in the description there for you guys. Adam says, I even made money. Adam, what are you saying, bro? Do you not normally make money trading? Where's that comment, Ray? Where's that comment? Where's that comment from Adam? What did he say? Adam, yeah, Adam says cult following. Where's our comment? He says, even I made money. Come on, Adam, bro. You stick around. You're going to be cooking, bro. Okay, so let's move on. NVIDIA, a little bit of news on NVIDIA now. NVIDIA stock started dropping as Biden administration announces further limits on AI chip exports to China. Okay, interesting what's going to happen now when Trump comes into play. Who knows what his game plan is going to be on NVIDIA. But for me, as an NVIDIA trade, I still love this big horizontal, the 130 region. So anybody interested in NVIDIA, that for me is a big level. Okay, that 130 zone, I would love to see that hold. If you're looking for a trade, NVIDIA 130 looks pretty decent to me. Notable now, it's holding the 50-day MA. We'll have to see what happens when the US market actually opens again tomorrow. So we'll look for that. Action. Urfi says the scalp session got me so high. You guys are absolute degens. I'm telling you, you guys are filthy degens in there. Okay, let's go. Let's go Crypto Bullet. So he's also just reminding everybody to calm down. He says at the beginning of 2024, people were also disappointed, but then we pumped hard. Okay, he's giving you a chart of 2024. He says, don't let them make you quit right before showtime. Okay, here's his chart. So guys, if you're wondering what happened, here is start of quarter 4 in when was this, 2024. Then he's given us a little bit of bull sauce. Okay, so he's saying hang in there. Okay, showtime is on its way. Be patient. Okay, and then guys, I showed you this the other day. When the market's falling over, I don't know, if you want to track the liquidations and the guys getting rinsed, that's always interesting when there's massive candles. Maybe if you're a leverage trader and you're hitting a couple of stops, maybe it makes you feel better to see what's happening to the other guys as well. But 24-hour wreck, $534 million. Okay, in absolute carnage out there at the moment in the current situation. So let's recap Bitcoin on the daily. We did touch on this yesterday, and I was saying head and shoulders in play here for us. This is bearish. We cannot look at this and be, oh fuck, we are so bullish here, when we got a head and shoulders staring us in the face here. So what we are holding here is a major horizontal support. This is our box that you've seen on that lower time frame chart, and I would still love to see that little wick down, just take out some liquidity here, that little wick, then a pump, okay, and then they can come and send us back to zero if they really want to. So that is kind of what I'm playing for. This is kind of what I'm planning for. And, obviously we can adjust as we go. If Bitcoin breaks higher, starts holding these types of levels, yes, then we go bullish again. We say 114 is coming for us. That is going to be our target. But until then, you can see the picture is here. These head and shoulders play out more often than not on these shit coins. And or the altcoins, obviously, the shit coins. And his lordship, BTC, might be giving us a couple of signs. Now, we have noticed in the past the head and shoulders don't always play out in full. They get front run. So if we are watching some levels, 91K, you can see that there, 88K, and then a little bit lower down, we've got 85K. Those are my levels that we want to watch. Chris Browser says pump or dump on inauguration. Chris, I'm going to say whatever happens 2 days before that is going to tell us what needs to happen. So if we get a meltdown 2 days or 1 day before the inauguration, pump time coming, we're looking for entries, we are going to buy that shit. If we get a pump into inauguration, I'm talking the day before or whatever, things start turning green, market starts ripping, fuck me, guys. I'm taking profit. I'm looking for some shorts. I'm telling you now. And I think we'll get a reversal then. So you got to play it leading into the event. Let's see, obviously, what happens on the day, but that is going to be my strategy. Okay, so Bitcoin, we covered. Reminder, bullish divergence here. Doesn't always play out, but here it is, showing us bullish divergence. Could get a push you know the upside levels. Okay, let's talk altcoins. Let's talk some things. Altcoins. Sell at a loss, option 1. Hold it to 0, option 2. Now, guys, I was doing that on WIF. I'm busy doing that on virtual, and I got a feeling virtual is going to rinse me. Okay, so this was my option. I mean, have you guys watched the show? And when you take that vote on what is the Squid Game? So sell at a loss or hold to 0 with these altcoins. Let's take a look at what is going on. So stepping back, weekly chart, all is technically okay. You look at this chart, you can see this on the weekly. This is total 3, excluding Bitcoin, excluding ETH. It's all the shit coins out there. And this is looking relatively bullish. So even if they do come and do something like that for us, it's not going to be pretty. We're going to see new lows that we haven't seen since August. Okay, we're gonna be breaking down lower than that if they come and do that to us. But we need to acknowledge this is potentially on the table on the weekly for total 3. Now, we can give you a little bit of bull source here. Let's look at the daily. How do we change our perspective now? How do we get short-term bullish on some of these altcoins? Well, you can see, if we zoom in on the daily, you can see what is going on at the moment. And right now, we are printing higher lows. Okay, so that, as long as we're holding these types of levels, we can be short-term bullish. If we start closing above that 50-day MA, then I'm going to start getting a little bit more interested again in some of these alts as well. Then you're going to see a lot of these altcoins breaking above major resistance zones. Right now, they're sitting on some resistance areas at the moment, but if we start popping that, it's going to get more interesting for us. So higher lows on the daily, cool. Weekly looking like it wants to come down. Weekly looking like it wants to be sent a little bit lower. So that tells me, again, any pumps here, we take some profits. Any pumps, we don't hang on too long. And remember, my favorite strategy for all of these things is if you're opening a few trades or if you're sitting in a few positions, what I love to do is take profits on some, open head shorts when we're pumping on some others, and you leave some open that you can try and really grow and increase the size as you start breaking horizontals and breaking levels. So then you don't have that FOMO that you're missing out if you've closed all your trades at a resistance area. So I like to have a few open, and then we grow some size, we take some profits, and we open head shorts as and when we need to. Okay, so that is the general game plan. And Zevi says Dylan has the V-neck on. Time to pump. Guys, I'm feeling a little bit short-term bullish here. Hopefully we'll get going. Now, yesterday on the show was actually quite unreal. That dump we were getting yesterday on the show was happening so fast. But I banged out some levels for you guys, and fuck me, a lot of these levels hit. So let me know in the chats. Did you guys get Render? Did you get 𝗏𝗏? Did you get NEAR? Did you get XRP? Did you get SUI? Did you get Virtual on that dump? Because that was happening live during the show, and I gave you those levels. So let me know in the chats. I want to know if you guys got some of those things there and got some of these bounces. Now, let's talk dominance. Now, this is the big one for me on the daily. To be fair, we've been calling this dominance bounce for the last 5 days. Okay, we could see that dominance was going to bounce. We were saying, what is the issue here? If dominance is bouncing and Bitcoin is pumping, we are happy. Okay, but if dominance is bouncing like this and Bitcoin is dumping or flat, that is when these alts get absolutely wrecked. Okay, and now this is the situation that we are faced with at the moment, and this is what we've seen in all of these charts. Now, I don't even want to look at the Popcat chart, but the WIF chart is a good example. Before we go back there, look at this absolute carnage here of what they've done to us now in the last couple of days, especially with that dominance bounce over there. Okay, so that is always dangerous now when you see that dominance bounce and Bitcoin falling over. So what is the next plan for dominance? Well, I'd say keep it super simple. Bang out a trend over there. You can see something like that. And we're going to look for a dominance rejection in this type of region, step 1, and then that type of region, step 2. So step 1 is going to be 58.5%. Anywhere in that zone, I would say let's look for a rejection there. And then if they come and take out that wick to the upside, it's going to be just under 60%. So both of these zones are where I would suggest that we get strong altcoin moves when we get those rejections. Okay, so that typically comes with maybe an alt pullback into that zone. Then you get the rejection. Then we get a strong move. And we're obviously going to look for higher lows on some of those alts if we do get that pullback on that dominance push. So that is what I'm going to be looking for over there. And Shifty says, I'm repping the V reversal. Guys, we're gunning for this V reversal here on some of these tokens. Okay, let's go. So ETH Foundation sold the top again, but there is an argument to say they sell it every month. It just happens that the market seems to fall over, every month. Towards the beginning of every month, the market falls over, and every time it coincides with the ETH Foundation selling. But for that narrative, let's say, okay, ETH Foundation sold the top, okay, absolute legendary traders, or they just sell it at the beginning of every month, okay? So congrats to them. It wasn't a big amount, but they did nail it. So this is something I've put together now today. I've taken a few lines away just to, just to clear this up a little bit. And I just want to show you something that I'm looking at now at the moment with ETH on the 3-day. You can see this 3-day is starting to gun a little bit lower now. And we might be faced with a situation like this with this 3-day trending down. So what I'm looking at now is a possible inverse head and shoulders is the ultimate goal. For ETH, that takes us to 2,800 down to about 2,700 as a possible target here for this move. But what does this tell me? It doesn't have to happen immediately. We could easily get a couple of bounces along the way before they come back and send us lower. But I just want to bring this to your attention that this shape is starting to form, okay? And that is tying in with Bitcoin's normal head and shoulders that you are seeing at the moment. So if we get offered some more Bitcoin weakness, we might see a situation with ETH dropping back all the way to 2.8, 2.7, that type of scenario. And that should give us then obviously some mega size long that we'll be looking at. If we have any money left, okay, if the market does send us all the way back down to these types of levels. So looking out for that on the bigger picture on ETH. And then smaller picture, guys, here's the 4 hour. So yesterday when we started the show, I was telling you guys what I was concerned about the reversal prints that we were getting and why I was saying that I wasn't feeling like super confident that we needed to reverse immediately. And what I was showing you was when we get our reversal point or our reversal print on our oscillator, we can see that typically, and it's not every time, but quite often we get that little reversal first after the print and then the pump. Then you can see that happened on this occasion as well. We got the reversal print, then they dumped us 16%. What happened yesterday? We had our reversal print, which was in that type of region there, and then they dumped us immediately after that. So during the show, they actually dumped us 5 or 6%. So the question I'm asking myself is that it? Was that the little correction after the green print, or do they have more in store for us? So that is the question that I'm asking myself, and that is also why I'm being relatively cautious here at the moment and not aping in, because I'm feeling like we could get that retest for Bitcoin back at the 90-91 zone, and that is obviously going to put these alts under pressure. But what we want to see for these alts in general, and I'm going to use ETH as the example, is we typically don't want these alts to lose these lows. We'd love to see these alts, if there is more weakness, to hold the lows from the 20th of December. We don't really want to go much deeper than that. So ideally, that would tie in with Bitcoin at that 91 to 90K level. So that is still on the table for me. What would that do to the oscillator? Probably print us some divergence there, and then we'll get a big move. So that is on the table. So I just want to highlight that as a possibility here for you guys. And remember, guys, our Chart Hackers Twitter is now live. So you can follow us on Twitter. It's The Chart Hackers, at The Chart Hackers. Follow us on Twitter there. We're dropping alpha. We're telling you what is going on in there. And you can see we're dropping some setups and all these types of things here for you guys. So make sure you are following it. You will get some extra alpha for yourself. If you're not in Chart Hackers, follow this. You'll get a couple of setups and things from us as well. But remember, all the action is obviously in the Chart Hackers. Okay, let's talk some trades. Fuck me, it was a rough 24, call it 48 hours. It hasn't been easy. Let's take a look. 𝗓𝗡𝗅, that was a trade setup I gave early this morning in Chart Hackers today. 𝗓𝗡𝗅 is now cooking. It was a laddered in approach there, so we got a couple of buys in there on 𝗓𝗡𝗅 while there was weakness today. So that one has turned green. You can see I've moved my stop to 0.266. Then I've got a near short hedge play. I've got an injective hedge play short. I'm going to show you that chart in a second. I've got render. This is still long from yesterday. Got that total bleed out. It was negative 2 or 3K. It's now had a nice bounce. Brett, you know the drill with my Brett situation. Sui as well jumped in another Sui now today off that hot zone. And then we've got the Phantom short, which is, remember, Phantom is delisting today on a lot of exchanges. So in fact, tomorrow at 10, I think they said 10 a.m. 10 UTC, they delisting. So I just, again, speculative. This is my second Phantom short. I want to see if we get something out of it. 𝗏𝗏, I'm going to show you that 𝗏𝗏 chart. No changes there. Still sweating that one. XRP from yesterday, still good. 𝗬𝗥𝗡 still okay. What do we got? 𝗏𝗡𝗡 head short in play, and Solana. Okay, that is the current spread that I have at the moment. Let's talk HBAR. Why was this interesting? This is a typical altcoin setup that we were looking for now today. While we are watching Bitcoin move into its lower levels, you've always got to have your eyes on these altcoins. You've got to look for these reversal zones, and this was a typical setup. So what I was looking for, and this is an educational thing for you guys, because this trade is now obviously bounced. But what I want you guys to see is when we're getting these meltdowns, step one, what tends to happen? You get your big dump. Okay, then step two, they come and they fill these wicks. More often than not, they come back and they fill the wicks after the dumps. And that is the type of thing you need to look for. Sometimes, obviously, they go lower than the wick low. Sometimes they print a 618, which is a higher low, and things like that. But typically, after you get the dump, what happens? A little bit of euphoria, people buy, there's a short squeeze, then it rejects at a typical rejection zone. You can see what it rejected off there. Then they sent it back all the way down. Okay, that's when you look for your real bullish entry. Are you going to get it in those types of zones? So that is what I was hunting today on HBAR, and fortunately this one now has played out for us. So anyone trading HBAR, you can see I've got my 50-day MA here at 26, and I've got my horizontal support at this 263 region. So for example, if there is another dip on BTC, what I want you guys to look out for, if you want to trade HBAR, if there is another dip on BTC, what you need to watch is if Bitcoin goes to 90 to 91K, you ideally want to see HBAR hold that level. Okay, that would be ideal for us if it can. Alternatively, look for the wick off that 50-day moving average. So wait for weakness here if you're looking for a position. If you're jumping in a position now, it's pretty high up. You're at 4% risk. Okay, so pretty high risk for a small reward here to this upside at the moment that we're looking at 5%, 7%. So just exercise caution now. But ideally, you want that weakness. You want to see the higher low. Then you get your HBAR second crack at that one. And then you've got lower protection at 26. So watch those areas now for HBAR on any weakness in the market. You can use that as your support. Upside targets 29, upside targets 298, upside targets 304. That is what we're going to watch. This is obviously the 1 hour, and you can see that 1 hour does want to push up a little bit here. But again, we are guided by Bitcoin, and we're gonna play it. We're gonna play it easily here. Okay, no aping. Okay, let's talk 𝗬𝗎. So AIXPT, the thing that absolutely rinsed me 2 days ago, is still giving me alpha on Twitter, but it's wrecking me on my leverage trade that I took. And AIXPT says 𝗬𝗎 flipped ton and linked to become the 12th largest market cap. Total value lock doubled from 1 billion to 2 billion in 84 days. Okay, that is why 𝗬𝗎 is responding so well. So guys, this was that 𝗬𝗎 setup yesterday. We got this one live on the show. It was dipping into our quantum reactor. You got that level from me. Our order blocks as well, our 618 and our horizontal. So this was an absolute slapper for us, 𝗬𝗎. So what you need to look out for now, anyone trying to jump into 𝗬𝗎 now, you can see what we've got here. Big resistance bands in front of us. Exercise extreme caution at this region. You can see this is a danger zone for us. What is our next level for 𝗬𝗎? Well, traders, you need to pop. You need to pop that area first. You want to break through those highs. You want to get support at 4.8. When you're finding support at 4.8 on, say, the 15 minutes, the 1 hour, those types of candles, when you got consolidation above those areas, then start looking for some breakout plays to take it a little bit higher. But right now, if you've traded 𝗬𝗎, you've had a nice move out of this thing. Be careful up here. Extreme risk in this zone at 4.8. This is a danger zone for you. And then with regards to big levels and where can we buy this thing if there is more of a meltdown? Well, the key levels here, they're pretty clear on this chart. Remember, all these charts go straight into Chart Hackers. During the show, after the show, these charts get dropped into Chart Hackers for all the members there. And what you can watch, big levels now, 4.48, 4.28, 4.16, and then I've got a banger down here at 4. Okay, so 4 is going to be the real big banger, but that's going to take some sweat out on the market. That's going to be a lot of pressure there on BTC if they are going to send it lower. So make sure you just understand your big key reaction zones. But right now, 4.48, you can see we've had a double tap on that zone, a nice reaction from there so far. So that is looking pretty decent now for our 𝗬𝗎, and then our 4 hours starting to grind higher. So that does tell us there is a possibility that we could get a break. Remember, if we're sitting at resistance and our 4 hour oscillator is sitting up here, that starts telling us look out for the fake out and then the dump on the token. Now we've got our 4-hour starting to grind higher while the token is sitting at resistance. So what I can advise here is say, look for breakouts now in that region, that 4.8 region. Try and dial in 15 minutes, 1 hour. Look for the breakout plays. Look for that pop through that 4.8, and then you're going to target the highs at 5.3, and then obviously after that it's price discovery. So we'll see how that goes. I touched on this Andrew Kang view on a Sol trade yesterday, and he's saying Sol's retraced most of the Trump pump, all these types of things. We've had a nice sell-off again. That is why I'm holding my Sol position. I've got high conviction on Sol, and it might be to my detriment here. But Sol right now on the weekly, first thing I like to do, zoom out, bigger picture after another sell-off. Yet another sell-off in the market. What is the bigger picture telling me? You can see this 185 region, this zone is a big area for us. Now, this has always been a big zone for us on the weekly. You can see that we've got weekly candles in that zone, tons of support here. That is why we are reacting in that region, including the rising trend. So Sol 185, a little bit lower down. I've got 170 for you on the weekly chart. Only negative thing here at the moment is this weekly is still trying to come lower, so we'll have to monitor that one. But on a lower time frame, you can see what's going on with Sol. They've given us a flat out 786 bounce. Okay, so I identified a couple of zones yesterday. One of them was our first box. That was this 199 to, I think it was 193 zone that we were looking at, and we were getting a reaction in that area. What happens next when the market falls over? Now, Sol obviously got wrecked less than some of these other alts like Whiff and Popcat and some of these others naturally, but when it falls over, you can typically just look for your next fib as your next reaction zone if you've got confluence. So what happened here? 185. Look at that, 786 fib coming in line with some horizontals there to play. But if I have to give you a high conviction zone for me on Solana, where's where am I placing all my chips? For me, it's got to be down here, 178 down to 172. That looks like the big one. So now that we've lost this level, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sol push up into this type of zone and then reject and come back, or one more move there to the downside. So just look out for that, guys. It is something you need to have on your radar there. And 178 down to 171, 172, starting to look like a possibility there on Sol. I'm just loving the idea of a wick onto that 200-day moving average. You can see there at 192. 172. That is obviously a danger zone for me. Now, let's talk XRP. This thing happened live yesterday on the show. We banged out some of these levels here while this thing was falling over. And again, just want you guys to see how beautiful these reaction zones are and how they can work for you when the market is falling over. And, look at that sharp bounce off 2.2 for us on XRP. That was a massive move there for us. Now we know XRP is super bullish at the moment. The guys are sitting having dinner with Trump. They're doing all these things and they're doing tons of deals in the US. Has my view changed that XRP is not a shitcoin? No, I still like to rip XRP off, but I'm happy to be pleasantly surprised, and I'm happy to trade this thing if it's going to give us some money. So 2.2, guys, you can see what's happened now on XRP on the 4-hour. 2.2, we've got a higher low in play as well. We've got backup support from our 50-day MA at 2.15. So that is what we're going to watch now. In the meantime, then lower down, if I have to give you a high conviction zone on XRP, now that will take Bitcoin really bleeding out. We're going to get that head and shoulders start playing out. We're going to start seeing lower levels. If that starts happening, your next big bounce zone for me on XRP is going to be about 195. That type of region you're going to look for. And we'll deal with how high it can go at the time when the time is right. But right now, that is the current plan. So if we start breaking through this trend, we can start getting a little bit more aggressive. We can start getting more bullish. We can play these breakouts. But until then, you can see we've got resistance ahead of us. So XRP traders, look out here. Danger zone 2.4, danger zone 2.5. Both of those areas can be a big place to reject if we do get a push up in the market. And then you need to just be careful and make sure that it's not some kind of fake out. So look out for that type of move there, that type of rejection in those areas. And that could be the trigger that sends you lower into that 1.95. So James loving his XRP, absolute banger, that XRP. Hey, I'm giving XRP setups here, James. I mean, what more do you want? We gotta keep everyone happy here with the XRP army. I can't believe James is in the XRP army now. He's officially joined. He's even got a badge. It's all going down. So big levels for me. XRP 195, you've got that one. Now, today, what are you watching? 2.2, that's got to be your main support level. Break that trend, start moving off that trend. Yes, then we're going to potentially start targeting higher. But right now, you can see we've got resistance in the way, danger zone, 2.4, 2.5, big danger zone there for us. Coastal Function Fitness LLC says 2 to 3x leverage is safe. Look, the market sold off heavily. Okay, so in terms of starting to ladder into some positions, I'm going to show you that WIF chart again. WIF is like at lows that we haven't seen since I think August or something like that. It's incredibly low. Popcat as well. A lot of these things where their attention has moved on to the AI agents now, the meme coins are slowing down, but we know what's going to happen. They're going to come back. Okay, when the market wakes up again, these meme coins are going to come back with a vengeance. And obviously, all these other tokens, anything you're looking at, Injective, 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗡𝗪 is nice levels actually, and near all these things could be worth looking at on 3x margin. Yes, I agree with that statement. I think it could be something that you could play around with. And remember, in crypto, the question was, is it safe? In crypto, nothing is safe. Okay, this is crypto. They'll come for you in the dead of the night. They'll come and eat you. But just manage your risk. Obviously, guys, get your stop losses in play. Manage your risk along the way. Curly's journeys. Come on, Curly. Come on, bro. Look, I feel the same. Okay, we trade XRP. Now, guys, anyone who got rinsed in the last 48 hours, I got a solution for you if you want to try this. Bitfunded. Okay, so this is prop funded trading. Look at these options they give you. This is so you basically send them $79, $99, $249, $399, and they give you these demo accounts that you can play with. Then you get 8% trade 1, 5% phase 2. If you pass that demo test, they're going to then give you real money, and you keep 80 to 90% of the profits. You can see they're calling it an audition fee. Yeah, look at that, a 79 audition fee. So it's 8% stage 1, 5% stage 2. Then you get real money to trade with. Okay, so I'm trading on Bitfunded now. This is the Bitfunded demo account that I've got here, and you can see I'm in a Bitcoin long at the moment, and I'm in an Injective long from that dip earlier today. So having a crack here on Bitfunded with Injective, and I'm going to show you this Injective chart now. We're going to talk about it because this is part of my head short that I am in currently on Bybit. So you can see why this is a big zone for us. So yesterday on the emergency Zoom session that we did for the hackers, we were looking at Injective as one of the cases. And what happened? We got a massive sell-off on Injective. And what happens next? We get that pump. As always, you get a rejection at some kind of reaction zone. And then what do they do afterwards? Well, they typically come back and they fill that wick. And Injective was no different. Look at that. They came back, they fill the wick, and then there's normally some kind of bullish bounce off those regions. If the move is going to be true, you know, the bulls tend to step in, 618, all those double bottoms. So it pretty much gave us exactly what we were looking for. But because of the nature of the market and because now Bitcoin hasn't hit certain levels, I've stayed in my Injective head short. Now, that is obviously on Bybit. This is real money that I'm trading here. This Bitfunded is still the demo account. But you can see I'm actually up here. Now, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to actually bank that one quickly, so we can pass this. Account. Okay, so I've closed that Injective long at resistance. As you can see, I'm going to leave that Bitcoin one open. Let's see. So just to finish this Injective discussion, what are we looking at now? Key support. You can see we've had a double tap now. So Injective traders, 20.6 is going to be your key support that you're going to be watching now for the bulls. You can see on our 2-hour, we're getting quite a bullish print here. We can see our VWAPs as well, our VWAP indicator there at the lows. Look at that. That is now printing bullish symbol there for us as well. So that is starting to push higher. And then we've got this resistance band. So what we're looking for here is a little pop of the 200-day MA. So is there another long trade on Injective? I would say yes, there is potentially, but it's got to be coinciding with a break of this 200-day MA and some kind of scalp through that zone. So in fact, what I want to do now, I haven't prepped it, but what I want to do is quickly set up a scalp setup for you guys on how to trade this long. Because if we are going to pop this 200-day MA, then I expect Injective to run to about 23.4. So you're going to look for a few percent here. You're going to look for about 6 or 7%. That could be a scalp on Injective, and by then I would say exercise caution because that is my next short zone. So that region is also going to be a danger zone, 23.6 danger zone, and right here where we are now, 22 is a current danger zone. So let's dial in quickly. Let's get some Injective action here. Let's set up a little scalper vibe here on the 15 minutes. Let's take a look what this can look like for us. Okay, so we're going to go 15 minutes here. And what we want to do now, you can see what's going on. We want to identify horizontal supports and resistances. You can see, look at that. Absolute banger here. Look how that ties in with that 200-day moving average. So you can see immediately this is a big resistance zone for us. And you can see the next zone or the next phase. Where can you trade this thing to? Look at that. We've got resistance there, 100-day MA. Then you've got another band up here. These wicks up there. That would probably get hit as well if there is some bullish momentum. So these are potential targets that you can look for to the upside. Then let's bang out some VWAPs. Let's take a VWAP from the high. Let's bang that out there. Okay, bang. Okay, so now we're identifying a couple of hot zones here. Where can we TP? Where can we get, where can we exit this thing? Let's pull some fibs there. Okay, bang. Okay, I'm loving this at the moment. So a couple of areas here. If there is momentum later, your targets are going to be, now this is the 15-minute degen setup, 23.2, 23.6, and call it 24. Okay, those are going to be your potential targets. How do you get there? What does this target look like? So typically what you want to see now is if there is a pump in the market, you want Injective to pop this region. Then you're looking for a pullback, but we're going to call it a bullback because we want to see the 382 tapped, and then we want to send this thing. So once you get that pop from Injective, you want to drag your fibs from the lows to the highs. Wherever it rejects, wherever you get that rejection, you drag your fib up to that zone. Then you're going to pull out your 382. Bang. Okay, and you want to make sure that that 382 holds. So wherever this move ends to the upside, you're going to drag your fib there to the upside, wherever that ends, and then you're going to use that as your pullback support. And what tends to happen here when we break these types of areas is we pop the zone. Okay, so we'll push and we'll blow through the zone. Then we get that pullback. There's a brief look back into the region. If it's going to stay bullish, the bulls step in here. It's typically a 382, and then they start sending it. So that is basically the playbook that you're going to be trying to use. So you want to see Injective break 22. Call it 22. When you get a hard break of 22, that is when you're going to start looking to strike on this thing, and you can start laddering in gently, gently, gently. The real trade is when the pullback comes back into the range. That is where you push the button. That is where you buy some more, and you watch that 382. If you close under the 382, then it typically wants to come back down to these range lows. Okay, so that is basically how I would play that. That is how I would look at those things. Okay. Sylvester Steelstone, what's going on here? What's happening here, bro? What are you saying? Matt says it's so choppy. I'm just focused on long-term bags while this gets sorted. Matt, yeah, I mean, look at WIF. Okay, there's some, I'm going to show you this WIF situation. Brett will survive. Everything will survive, guys. It's a matter of, are we going to have dry powder left when they finish sending us to zero? When is this shit going to hit the fan on Injective? When is the shit going to hit the fan? Hasn't it hit the fan already on Injective? Guys, I mean, that Injective wasn't looking great over the last while. And guys, this was me on render to you guys the other day. Actually, I closed that SUI long. I banked a nice SUI long profit, and I think my render was $10,000 or $12,000 up. And it says, take profit when you have a chance. And what did I say? I was this dude, spider dude. I said, I'm buying more. And I got absolutely fucked. I mean, look, there she goes all the way back down. I mean, literally, I was sitting at the top here on render, and they sent us all the way back down. Okay, so what do we do now? Okay, we can see render 4-hour play. You can see we've got our reversal print there. And interestingly, notable, we got our reversal print up there. Then we got our dump that we look for. Okay, so here's our reversal. Then we got the dump. Okay, so that looks actually relatively locked and loaded for now. Okay, on the 4-hour time frame. But we do know on things like the daily. Okay, the daily could be a bit of an issue. This daily has only just printed its first reversal. Okay, so that is something we need to take note of. And this is actually hidden bearish divergence here as well. Look at that. So we had the oscillator printing here to here. You can see the oscillator printing highs, and the price action from there printing lows. Okay, so that is not a good look from that perspective either on render. So the daily is looking a little bit heavy, but the 4-hour says, yes, cool. Maybe some kind of short-term bounce in the market. So how do you play render now? What do you want to do? Okay, so number one, you can see we had a monster wick on render. It blew through the trend and the 786. That was at 7.1. So what I would suggest here for me, because I'm in a render trade at the moment, for me, I'm going to be using 7.1 as my bullish support. So I want to see 7.1 hold for me now on render. You can see there's a second wick to be dealt with. Quite amazing, actually. A lot of alts got the dump, then they hold the wick, and then they pump. But render actually printed new lows. So that was pretty filthy from that side. So 7.1 bullish support number one that you can use. Call a 7.1 to 7. Okay, bullish support number one. You obviously want to see the candles close above that trend. As long as we got a candle close above that trend, then render should be short-term bullish for a push higher. Now, if the Bitcoin starts falling over, the market starts crashing, where's the next high conviction trade for render? Where's our next banger? And for me, guys, this is it. 6.7 down to that 200-day MA at 6.4. So anywhere in that region, I'm looking for render. This can be spot buys. This can be margin buys, all these types of things in those zones. Naturally, I'm going to throw some leverage at this thing as well if we are going to hit that zone. So 6.7, you can see there's a lot talking to me here. I've got the 786 in play. I've also got some wicks in play here for us. So 6.7, and then I've got that 200-day MA at 6.4. So that is interesting because it also takes care of filling a big portion of this wick as well, which will be a wick on the daily chart as well. And that'll take care of a lot of that wick in that zone. So 6.7 to 6.4 on render, looking interesting to me. This chart will be in Chart Hackers for you guys in the next couple of minutes if it's not there already. Okay, so upside targets for now. Where's there a short zone? So if we get a pump in the market, guys, remember the rules. If we are pumping in these conditions and those dailies are looking bending over, wanting to send us down, we need to look for short plays. We need to look for head shorts. So just like you've seen on Injective now, we're shorting Injective at a major resistance area. The same thing we can do on render. We want to short it at a major zone. So for me, render, if the market runs away here and gets a little bit euphoric in the next few days, for me, 7.9 to 8, that is a short zone. That is a TP zone. That is a bear zone. That is a be careful zone in that area. Okay, so shorts higher up, 7.9 to 8. And longs for me, 7.1 to 7, interesting bull zone there. And then lower down, 6.7 to 6.4. Those are the most obvious areas for me right now on render. Okay, let's talk 𝗚𝗓. I banged out the 𝗚𝗓 weekly chart for you guys just to show you. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to upset anyone, okay? But realistically, what can happen here with 𝗚𝗓? Now, if we start looking at things like this, what can realistically happen on 𝗚𝗓? Well, if we're following this downtrend and we start looking at things like this, well, you know, it could easily come to these types of levels down there. And we're talking, we're talking levels where we were in January this last year. So 7.4, that has to be on the table for us at some point. Okay. Now, just based on this channel that we are looking at, but we could easily get a situation now where 𝗚𝗓 just decides to start pumping, and then, you know, we might forget about it, but then we're going to hit this 21, 22 zone. Then we might get that rejection. Okay, so just look out. This is on the table now for 𝗚𝗓 as potential downside later on. I'm highlighting this here, stink bid zone. I mean, this is a massive, massive region here at 7.5, those types of levels. But right now, there's lots in the way for 𝗚𝗓, so we don't have to panic just yet. I would expect a bounce, you know, along the way. We'll get bounces and things like that all the way. And if we do eventually break trends, well, that's cool. You know, then we'll deal with 7 in 2026 or 2027. We'll deal with that level later. But, you know, at some point, that 7 level will come back. And I just don't know when, obviously. But right now, 13.5, big level for me on 𝗚𝗓 on the weekly. You can see that was our previous wick dump into that zone as well. So 13.5, banger zone there. If you do get that dip again on any more BTC weakness, 13.5 for me is a bounce zone. Look for the action there on 𝗚𝗓. And then naturally right now, you can see there is some kind of level going on here, but it's not a high conviction stuff. And I mean, it's the smaller levels that we are dealing with at the moment. Okay, and so you can see here we've got some 4 hours in place. So what you're going to be watching here, 15. You're going to be watching the lows, 14.3. But the big one for me, 13.5. That's what you need to worry about at the moment. Okay, yeah, let's talk 𝗬𝗥 and my current trades. So this virtual trade is fully going against me here. I'm like a whisker away from getting taken out completely here. My liquidation is at 3.05. on virtual, and we're going to talk. We'll talk about that one. Then 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I grabbed some 𝗏𝗏 earlier today. Now we had this on the show yesterday. We were looking at all the bounces and the way this thing reacts, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 dropped into a nice area. So I grabbed some 𝗏𝗏 as well off this zone. Now who knows if it's going to hold? But what I can do is give you these levels that you can start playing with. So what we've got here, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 traders, you can see the 4 hour is starting to double bottom here on the oscillator. So that is, I wouldn't say it's great news, but it is looking better at the moment from that perspective. We've had a beautiful sell-off now. And what was I looking at earlier? So 786 fib coming into play, simple fib pull. Anyone can pull that. And then you've got your horizontals as well. So for me, the level was 0.8, where we were getting interested in this 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and you can see we have a wick that we can deal with there as well, and we've got the 50-day MA. So 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 traders, if you're looking for some action here, and there is a little bit more weakness in the market, there's a possible bounce here in this region from 0.805 down to 0.73. Now remember, I mean, this thing is super volatile, so nothing wrong with a 9 or 10% a stop zone or buy zone. As long as you're running this thing on spot or really low leverage, you can slowly ladder into these things if you need to. So look out for something like that. A 0.805 down to 0.73. Look in that zone over there. There could be some 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 action here for you guys. Okay, so if you're jumping in now, I just want to show you the level of risk you're dealing with. Let's just work that out to the downside. So remember, if you're trading leverage and you're looking at things like that, that risk already to the lows is 8.6%. So if you're trading 10x leverage and you're jumping in on not an optimal entry, your 10x leverage is times by 8%. That's a potential 80% loss for you guys. Obviously, the gains are obviously high on leverage, but you got to understand, when you are setting up a trade, rather worry about what you're going to lose rather than worry about what you're going to win. That's going to help you along your way. So take a look at that. And what's Jugs shouting about? Does he not like 𝗟𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 at 7, bro? Is he not a fan? Right? Is he not liking it? What else we got? NZ Danny, welcome. Tindo, the African DJ, hello sir, welcome to the party. Who else is here? Dang, that's like 40% dip. Guys, I'm just giving you what I see. Okay, I'm not trying to be a super bear here. I'm just giving you what I see. I mean, I trade these charts, I look at these things, and I identify head and shoulders. Fuck, I tell you about it. Okay, I can also pretend it's not there and just be like, oh, we bullish all the time, all day. I can't do that. Okay, I'm not doing that. So James says it's 35x safe on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Guys, he's obviously joking. Okay, he's obviously joking. Do not trade 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 on 35x leverage. Okay, that's fucking insane.
Unless you're in chart hackers hanging out with me.
I see Mia's in the house. Hello, Mia. Hello. And anything I don't care. I love that name. Anything I don't care. AR 13.5 will kill my trade by, oh, God. 13.5 is a big level. Okay, it's a big weekly level. MJ. Guys, MJ says Popcat. MJ, bro. I nearly got liquidated so bad on Popcat, and I suspect it's around the corner. Okay, invalidated of the fucking highest order on Popcat. I missed it today by, I think my liquidation is like 0.51, and it went down to 0.52 today. I didn't even want to open my trading account. Okay, now I see it did bounce a little bit, but if they come back, they're gonna come for me. It's not gonna be fun. Okay, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Let's talk 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and just to finish up on some big levels here. So I want to show you guys something that's developing here in my mind from what I think I could be possibly playing out for us. So this is 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 on the 8 hour that I'm watching. You can see we're getting our reversal sign now. Finally. Okay, we got a divergence print on the 8 hour. We're getting signs here that the pain might be over. Okay, short term. Okay, so 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, you can see I'm sitting in that 𝗏𝗏𝗏 position, and very simple way to identify your rejection zones. You can see the trend, you can see the horizontals, and you can see that 786 fib. So you know immediately once you've lost the trend, you know that a retest of that trend is actually quite bearish. Okay, so here we are. 470 is now your resistance zone on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. But what we did get yesterday, hopefully some of you guys got this trade. We spoke about these levels on the show, and 440 was the entry zone. So 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 came back for 440. That is now going to be your support block. So anything from 440 to 420, call it 425. Okay, anything from 440 to 425 for me, that still plays into the hands of this big head and shoulders here. Okay, so that still gives us this possible move before there is more downside. Okay, or more downside on Tahoe. So 440 to 428, it's a very interesting area. Okay, we've had a couple of big reactions here. We've also got our 200-day moving average pulling up the rear at 428. Okay, so watch that, 428. Watch that zone, and then the reversal print is there. Now, obviously, we understand on the higher time frame, the daily still got work to do. We get that. Okay, so there might be a little bit more sweat out on the daily. So just keep your eyes on that. But shorter time frame is telling us that we might be shorter time frame bullish here. So watch that zone. Then obviously now, if I'm not around, and again, we have another meltdown. Now, I really don't want to see another meltdown. But if we have another meltdown, guys, that is going to be your level. Okay, 400. That is the one. That is going to be the full close of this wick that you see here from the 20th of December dumps. That is going to be your level, 400. So keep that one on your hit list. Keep that on your chart. Mark these things on your chart so you guys are ready and on these things. So you don't really want to you don't want to react when the market is falling over. You want to have done all your work before. So when you see these levels, I know you guys degen trading, doing all these things in between. But make sure you have a set of charts of your favorite altcoins that you have high conviction on. Make sure you have your higher time frame levels. Make sure you have these things preset for you so that when the market is dipping, you can go to those charts that you've pre-done. You've set your homework. You've got your alarms. You're ready to go. And when you hit those levels, it's easy. You just push buttons. Okay, if you're scrambling to push buttons while the market is falling over, you're working under more pressure that you don't need to be under. So do the work. When the market is nice, do the hard work. And then when it's falling over, it's less pressure for you guys. Okay, so Tahoe, you know the drill. Upside target, if things really start playing out nicely, I don't want to push it much more than 500 to 520 as a max here for me on Tahoe. So that's your potential upside that you're going to be looking at. And let's see, NZ Danny says, want to get Bitfunded live before we hit the bottom. Guys, I think this is an opportunity now when we're pushing down into these levels and dips. When there's dips like that, that is a Bitfunded opportunity. Okay, because you fire out those demo accounts. When you get that dip, then that first strong bounce is almost that free ride when you get that bounce, because you only need to make 8% on your total account. Okay, so when you're getting a dump in the market, that's when you want to turn on this Bitfunded, when you're getting that sell-off. Okay, let's talk Lido, and this is my last ETH play chart that we looked at yesterday. So this was one of the examples we were looking at. So we lost our 618. What did we do? We hit trend 786 on Lido. Remember, Lido is an ETH play, but we need ETH strength, and then Lido should outperform ETH along the way. Now, typical rejection zone here, 1.68 for Lido, moving into a rejection area. Your support now, Lido traders, 1.55 is what you're going to be watching. We can see 4 hour is starting to try and push a little bit higher up. There's lots of oversold situations going on at the moment, but I would say 1.55, that is going to be your support that you want to watch. If we are going to pump higher than that, we typically want to hold that region. Then a little backup zone for you guys, a little bit lower down. We've got 1.44. Okay, that's your 200-day MA. That's going to fill these wicks as well. So that's pretty much, it's pretty high conviction zone, that 1.44 as well on Lido. So just watch those to the downside here. Let's see. Oh, I got the wrong pen, but there it is. Okay, so 1.44 is what you're going to be watching. And guys, I know there's lots of chart questions here, and what I do daily. So just to tell you what is going on in Chart Hackers, what I do daily is I do a market report for you guys. We look at Bitcoin 2 hour, we look at daily, we look at liquidations, we look at some altcoins, ETH, Sol, AVAX, whatever's relevant to me on the day. I drop those. Then I drop degen setups, and then during the day, if anything major is happening, I still owe you WIF, it's coming. If anything major is happening during the day, then I start updating in my channel. I drop the charts in there. So there's lots of requests now I see for charts and things like that, but I'm filling up Chart Hackers all day. There's always content coming through there. So what I suggest, guys, just jump into Chart Hackers. We've obviously got Chaos in there as well doing his thing. We got the Chart Prime team in there. They're trading bots automation as well for you guys. Ray, as you know, is doing his thing. And Degen Dave, I mean, our Bybit winning competition trader is in there. okay, on Chart Hackers. So literally all you need to do for anything that I'm talking about today is just go under the show description, click on more, and here is the list of everything. There's my Twitter handle at the top there. There's my accelerator school. There's Chart Hackers. Just click on these links, and there's Prime XBT that I'm trading Bitcoin on at the moment. WeX, Bitfunded is all there. Even Dexcelerate is here for you guys. Okay, that is also, if you want to trade some meme coins and things like that, we got to get into that this week as well. But that is there for you guys as well. I owe you guys WIF, and I said I was going to look back at this WIF chart. So let's cover some WIFage here quickly. Okay, here we go. So WIF on the daily, big zone here for me. I mean, it's hard to come here and say, oh, what a gift, what an amazing entry here for WIF. But guys, if you look at this chart, okay, yes, this thing can go much lower. Okay, we know that. But if we look at what is happening here, what happened in, where were we? In March, this was our March run down to the left here. Then we had a pump. Where was this? July, and a massive sell-off. And then it's just been up only. Okay, so now they've reset this entire bull move from September. Okay, full reset on this WIF at the moment, but now it's moving into an area where you got to be interested. 1.45 down to 1.4. This is a zone. Okay, it's an action zone here. At the very least, it's a spot zone for WIF. Then a little bit lower down, we've got 1.12. Okay, so that is just under that wick as well. So for me, it's 1.45, this type of region here, looking for a bounce. Again, we don't have to shoot the lights out, but we can get quite easily, we can get a 20% move here or 31% move on WIF without even asking too much before the next rejection. So 1.45 to 1.4, big zone for me. If that fails, guys, I'm really fucking selling the hamster here. 1.15, buying some WIF down there if that is obviously going to happen. Okay, cool. Overran a little bit there, guys. I hope you got a fair explanation as to what is going on. You can see why head shorts play out in these reaction zones. And if you're looking for the breakouts, you know what to do. I've given you a little lesson there on how to do that now on that injective chart. Obviously, if you want more of that stuff, we're in Chart Hackers trading all day long. It's all going on there. Okay, guys, good luck out there. It's been absolutely messy. Everybody's feeling a bit of pain. You are not alone. Okay, you are here, and I've got you guys every day. Okay, I'm back tomorrow. Catch you later.